Hello everybody and welcome back. Alright, in this battle I'm revisiting one of my first battles, so my army composition isn't quite the same as what it usually is. So let's take a look real quick. I have 3 bow ashigarus, 3 katana samurai, 2 Yari samurai, and then I brought along 3 Yari cavalry. Now notice when I started my troops, where I put them, I bunched them all up on this right side, so when I advance I can avoid this river and use this hill. That'll be pretty important later. Let's look at his army. Interesting, right? 5 bow ashigarus, and then a ton of Yari samurai, and his general. No cavalry. So taking to mind one of my more recent videos, what's the core of this guy's army? It's pretty easy to see, I think. It's these bows. He's got a missile-based army. That's really hard to do, to have a missile-based army. I immediately recognize what he's planning to do. He's going to try and hold me down with the spears and just rip me apart with bows. Pretty basic. Nothing I can't handle, though. So how am I going to deal with this threat? Clearly an army like that is not made for offense. Big surprise. So I'm going to have to attack it. So I'm going to move my forces up to use this hill. This hill will be very important. He kind of moves there too, but he doesn't take it. He stops short, which ended up being very good for me. So what I usually do on these missile-heavy armies is I try and maneuver my cavalry around early to just hit them from the sides, hit them from behind, exploit holes, and neutralize their missile units as soon as possible. That's usually what I try and do, because if you can neutralize the missile units with an army like mine, then your other infantry, such as your katanas, which I love, will basically be free to just cut the enemy down. And since they're all spears, my swords are going to have a huge advantage. Oh, look at that, I brought a Nodachi in this battle. I do have a Nodachi samurai in this battle. See, I don't hate Nodachi samurai. They have their place. Anyway, I was moving my cavalry around here. I was trying to get around the back and hit his missile units, but I soon realized that really wasn't going to work. He has way too many spears. He's going to be able to easily cover it. That's just not going to happen. So how else are you supposed to take out these missile units and neutralize them? Well, look at this situation we have. He's sitting here at the base of this hill. I can move my missile units here and skirmish and hit his spears. And then when his missile units come out to react, I can have my cavalry chase him off. Brilliant. So my 3 missile units will attempt to neutralize their 5 missile units. So here we go. Move them just into range here to hit their spears. Here come the missiles to react. Now look where my guys are placed exactly. This hill is the perfect cover for my guys. This one's exposed, but then hopefully they'll either focus on all of them equally, where the hill will kind of protect them, or they'll focus everybody on this one unit, and he'll just take one for the team. Don't be afraid to sacrifice units. If you can lose one unit to neutralize a bunch of theirs, it's definitely a good trade-off. So here we are skirmishing. I didn't decide to move with my cavalry yet. I guess I wasn't thinking about it so early. But soon, what I'm going to do, here we go, is this cavalry is going to move up to chase these bows. So I'm going to try and keep his bows moving at all times, because if they're moving, they can't shoot, and they'll just be easy pickings. Now he could be moving up his spears, but then I'll just move my bows back, and I have the advantage here. I'm the attacker. I can move my bows back and forth and chase his off. He has no cavalry. He cannot respond to my cavalry. I can just chase his bows off all day long. Easy. I should have done that earlier, because I lost a bow unit. Maybe they'll rally and come back. I don't remember. But I should have brought my cavalry up earlier. I didn't really think of it. So that's what I'm going to keep doing for a little bit. But I'm a little impatient, so I don't just sit there doing that forever. So watch when I move my infantry up. You have to take advantage of the moment when they're moving back. See, now his missile units are moving. There's not a whole lot they can do. So now my bows can start ripping apart their line while their bows regroup. And my infantry is basically going to be at his line by the time they're ready to shoot. I mean, they'll get off a volley or two, but for the most part, they'll be fairly neutralized. And then, since they're on even ground, they won't be able to shoot very well into my ranks. So I've almost neutralized his core already. And now all it's going to come down to is my katanas grinding down his only that, I have cavalry. So once my units engage his spears, they won't be able to move, they won't be able to cover his archers. My cavalry is going to come around his flank and just completely destroy him. No problem. Now, having these big spear armies is generally not a good idea, I think. Oh, one note. I didn't quite realize how important the general was in this battle, so you'll see some people kind of waver. That's why in future battles I kept my general right up there on the front line to help him around. Anyway, these spears are good for holding down enemies. They can pin people down for the hammer and anvil. Now, we should have brought some cavalry for a hammer and anvil kind of thing. They have this many spears, you know, exploit Babby's first strategy. But he doesn't, so it's easy. I'm just going to grind him down. His general comes up. I mean, one general is not going to be able to cover against 3 Yari cavalry. That's just, I mean, that's not going to happen. My cavalry has free reign on him now. Talk about supporting a corps, right? How do you support that corps of bows? You don't just bring spears. You have to be able to prepare for anything. What's going to happen when his infantry gets pinned down and my cavalry is going to come around his rear? There's not much you can do. So he didn't support his corps well. That was the biggest problem. And now my bows up on this hill are going to easily be able to shoot into his, because we'll have that height advantage. I can shoot over my troops. So here comes the cavalry to hit the bows. The corps is neutralized completely. Now it's just a matter of my katana samurai beating his spears, which is going to be easy. I mean, they're taking heavy casualties. I guess it's about even. Because he has more infantry than me, so they're kind of ganging up on my infantry. And that's why the battle's pretty even on the infantry lines. But the fact is, I have the cavalry, and I'm going to be able to just wheel around once these bows are dealt with and just hit his spears. See, there they are routing because they sense they have units behind them. That's a huge, huge detriment morale. Even if you don't attack them, see, they start routing before you even charge. You don't even have to hit them a lot of times. You just have to have units behind them and a superior force. If they sense a bigger force of enemies is behind them than allies, they're going to rout fast. So keep that in mind. You really have to attack them sometimes. And there's that battle. Easy. Neutralize the core. No problem. Thanks for watching, everybody.